Hello, my name is Last Danos Mystery Man, and this is my 26th ever Bold and Beautiful review for the episode of today, Wednesday, May 31st, 2023, episode 9029. And well, before I get into this episode, as I stated yesterday, my Night Champion review, and I want to state it here too, my WWE Night Champion review from yesterday, and I would like to state it again here. I took a little break because I felt that I was getting kind of stale, I did 25 of these. I did 25 of these, and my longest break was like 2 days. I felt that I was getting extremely stale with this. I felt like I was talking about the same things. And it probably will still kind of feel like that, but I'm going to try to add in some new stuff into this one, hopefully. Hopefully I can add some new stuff, and hopefully you can find more enjoyment out of these ones, because I'm going to try to spice it up a little bit. But yeah, getting into this episode. I mean, it started off with Eric, Carter, and Wedge, which I was like, okay, well, these are two people we normally don't see, Eric and Carter, because whenever they's on the show, sound an alarm, they're back. They're no longer missing. You no longer put them on milk cartons. They're back. And they was talking about how they're all going to Rome, Italy. And what they're talking about how in Rome, Italy, apparently in the springtime, Rome, Italy is very pretty. It's very nice to go. I don't know about that because I once had a friend who lived in Rome, Italy, and he said it's not that pretty in the spring. He said it's very hot. But maybe he lived there for a decade. Then again, maybe he lived there for those 10 years and it was super hot in Rome, Italy. Who knows? Possibly. Who really knows? But they're talking about that, and then for some stupid reason, the conversation goes to Hope and Thomas, because, everybody gotta talk about those idiots. Everybody and their mother gotta talk about those idiots. So they're like, Eric is like, so Hope and Thomas work really well together. Should we be worried? I'm like, geez, Eric, get straight to the point. And Carter just sort of kind of there in the background. And every time I watch Carter now that I know that he writes on this show, I'm thinking to myself, did he have to write this dialogue? I guess that does explain, like, some of the time, why some stuff that people say on this program. I always looked at Carter and he didn't look complete and utterly confused like everybody else did, because it's like, well, he had to write this stuff. That's how I kind of judge Carter for that. And I'm like, did he write this? Because I know all the writers on strike, so are these like all the old scripts? And like before the writers went on strike, and I don't know. All I know is that this program has changed significantly. I don't know what happened, but this program has changed significantly. But they're talking about that. Then we cut to oh good lord. Then we cut to Taylor and Brooke, and I first thought, oh great, these two idiots are back. Whenever these two idiots on, you might as well just know that it's not going to be a fun time for literally anybody, because they are horrible. They are annoying and horrible together. But they're having a conversation, and Brooke is like, you should tell your daughter not to interfere in Liam's and Hope's marriage. I'm like, Taylor's like, oh, that's not what she was trying to do. I'm like, that's what Steffi had been trying to do that's what Steffi did for a decade. Well, maybe not so much a decade, but that's what Steffi did for 3 years, from 2011 to 2013. As everyone knows, the love triangle from hell. Or as it was known back then, the love triangle from hell that keeps going on for some stupid reason, even though there was multiple different times they could have ended it. Yeah, fun times. Maybe still better than this time. But then they're talking, and Hope and Brooke is like, you should tell your daughter to not interfere in my daughter and Liam's marriage. And then Taylor's like, well, Hope, I gotta remember that Hope does have Logan blood in her. And I laughed so much during that scene. I clapped so much because for me, I'm not a big fan of Brooke Logan, and I never really have been. I've liked at different points. Just really depends on what she's portraying at that certain moment with Brooke Logan. But most of the time, I've not been a fan of Brooke Logan. I mean, not even that I was a fan of it, was just more so there was stuff that she said that I could somewhat agree with. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that I disagree with everything she said, and there's never been a point that I've said, well, she's not complete and utterly annoying. There has been with all these characters, You're not going to completely dislike somebody in real life or in a soap opera. Just like how in real life, you're not going to completely dislike somebody. But most of the time, 95% of the time, Brooke Logan is horrible. And I love what she said. I love what Taylor said there. Hope does have Logan blood in it, which what that means is that Hope does have the genes of her mom. Hope does have some of her mom's slut genes, as some people would put it, which I think could explain a lot. Which actually does explain a lot of Hope's action. But after that, Brooke just looks shocked. I don't know why, Brooke. It's not like Taylor's the first person to ever call you that. I mean, Stephanie's nickname for you was literally the slut from the valley. So, I mean, this ain't the first time you've been called a slut in your life. I mean, that's basically what Taylor said without saying it. You know, in the context of the conversation. Then we cut to Deacon, who is quite possibly the best parent on this, the best father and parent on this program. Because he's the only one who truly loves his child. And doesn't try to manipulate, use, or control his child. So Hope comes in, I'm like, oh, great. This should be fun. More bullshit. So Deacon's like, hey, how's my favorite customer? I'm like, good thing you didn't say how's my favorite daughter, because I think you only have one daughter, Deacon. He does have a son from, I think, Young to Wester that they never seem to bring up. Which ironically was the first thing Deacon said, was the first thing Deacon ever said the first time I ever saw him in 2012. Was literally, where's my son? And Bill was like, I don't know anything about your son, but I know about your daughter. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, they've never brought that kid up again. So Hope comes in and goes like, I just need to see a friendly face. That's your father, not your friend. I have never once in my entire 21 years of being alive ever referred to my mom as my friend or called her a friendly face and go, oh look, there's my mom. I would love to see my mom's face today. Who calls their parents a friend? Like, that's disrespectful. That's almost as disrespectful as calling your parents by their first name. I will never. I've only ever done that like 3 times, and once was just to annoy my mom. The other time I was trying to learn how to spell it. And the last time I kind of did it just to see what my mom would do, and she looked at me and goes, "That's not my name to you." So yeah, you don't do that. You don't call your mom or your dad a friend. They're your parents. I don't agree with that. I'm not a big count. I can say that you can say that your mom or dad could be your best friend. That's a little bit different. But to call your parents your friend or call them a friendly face, that's like, oh, well, these ain't my parents. That's kind of disrespectful to your parents, you know. But anyway, they're talking, and you know, you gotta feel bad. You gotta kind of feel bad for poor Hope, because she is extremely stressed out by all this stuff that she's going through. But we get back to that in a minute. So then the conversation goes back to the three dudes, or as I like to say it, the two grown men and Widge Forrester. So they're talking, and Eric is like, okay, so we got nothing to worry about Hope and Thomas in Italy. How about in Rome, Italy? How about you two? How about you and Brooke? How you and Brooke doing? Are you two gonna ever get back together eventually? And Carter's like, well, this is fun. This is fun listening to you guys talk about your guys' love life. And I'm not sure. I'm trying to think what he said word for word. But I wonder if that's a nod to the fact that he writes on this program. That Victor something writes on this program. I have no idea what his last name is. He has like 2 last names. Some of these people have very confusing real names. I mean, then again, I can't speak. I got a very difficult last name to say as well, but you know. So I think Carter said like, oh yeah, this is always so much fun listening to you guys talk about your love life, Widge, at work. I think that's like a nod to the fact that he writes this. Like, he probably had to write that, so that's funny. So they're talking, and Eric is like, so what's going on with that? Are you two gonna get back together? I do say that you two belong together. Another thing I don't like that I wish they would bring up more is the fact that Eric and Brooke have children together. Like, I know that Bridget and Rick are not on this show anymore because, well, both I guess both at least I know Rick acted decided, I guess, to never come back. Good for him. I don't know if that's what he did or they did have an accident back, but whatever. Good for him. I wouldn't want to be on this program either. So I know they're no longer in the show, but why are they trying to pretend like Eric has always been Team Brooke and Widge, and when literally everybody watching this show, no matter how long you've been watching, no, that's not true. I don't know. That's what this kind of seems like. It's Brad Bell's whole thing of let's rewrite history, which I don't really understand because he's trying to rewrite history that's not even technically written by him. It's written by his parents. The people who started this program. And I've seen a bunch of episodes where they were, and good Lord, they were so much better at writing this stuff. None of their stuff ever annoyed me to the point that I was like, this doesn't seem like something a normal human being would do. We seem like people. They did crazy stuff, but at least they seem like actual people who could exist. Most of these characters on this show, on Bold and the Beautiful, now don't seem like real people. So then we cut back to Taylor and Brooke and Brooke and Taylor, or Taylor and Brooke, who knows? The two basically sort of kind of ugly women, depending on who you ask. Sometimes. I'm talking about Taylor, not Brooke. So then we cut back to Dim, and Taylor's like, I'm just saying, why can you always put my son down, but I can't put your daughter down? And Brooke is like, well, that's different. Is it though? Because your daughter's kind of being an enabler for Thomas. Kind of like how you, Brooke, have ruined multiple men's lives. I mean, this would take 45 minutes to explain how you ruined a bunch of men's life. Well, I just say the quick notes of it. She slept with her daughter's boyfriend. She slept with her daughter's husband. She slept with her sister's husband. Yeah, she slept with her daughter's boyfriend, her daughter's husband, her sister's husband, her husband's son, or her husband's father, because I have no idea who Brooke was. I have no idea if Brooke was with Eric or Widge first. I've never actually gone back to look that up, and I have no idea who Brooke was with first. I don't know if she cheated on Widge with Eric or if she cheated on Eric with Widge. I have no idea, because all I know about this show when it first started was that I've actually seen the first episode, and Widge was with Caroline Spencer Sr., which really gets creepy if you go and watch 2015 Bold and Beautiful in 2016. It really gets creepy. But other than that, that's kind of that was their whole conversation spun up. Taylor was like, why can you put my son down, but I can't? Why can you put my son down, but I can't put your daughter down? And Brooke's like, well, it's much different. And in a sense it is, but also in a sense your daughter is a horrible person. And then again, Taylor, you also have horrible children. And I would like to continue to point out that Thomas' obsession with Hope was basically created by Taylor. Because in 2019, when Caroline died, Douglas's mom, Caroline died, he had a supposed therapy session, or as I like to call it, she gave him some orders and he took those and ran with them. Taylor told Thomas to steal Hope from Liam. Literally. And she's never going to, and she can't be called out for that because she's such a great therapist. No, she's not. She's a horrible therapist. Even the other Taylor was a horrible therapist. And I didn't even hate that Taylor most of the time. Most of the time I found Hunter's portrayal of Taylor to be, at least this is a grown woman. At least this is a grown woman who's horrible at her job, but she's trying. Now all I see is a woman who's clearly in her 50s, but acting like she's 16 years old. 16 or 15. Maybe 15 years old, thinking that she's 16. No, is it 15 thinking that she's 18? No, it's like she's acting like a 15-year-old teenage girl, or maybe a little bit older, who depending on depending on depending on which episode it is. She basically acts like a girl. She basically acts like she's either 15, 16, or 17 years old. And I've met a lot of 15, 16, and 17-year-old girls. So, And most of them act kind of like Taylor. Just they're not as stupid. So then we get back to the riveting conversation between Hope and Deacon. And Deacon is like, "So Hope, how's your life going?" Hope is very stressed out. She does that or whatever that is. You lay your head down. Ironically, that is what people do when they're stressed. Honestly, that is actually something I always do when I'm stressed. That's literally what I do. If I'm stressed out or pissed off about something, I just lay my head down. Like, can I just go to bed and wake up in the morning? So they're talking, and Hope is like, "I'm so sick of nobody trusting me. I'm so sick of having to defend myself to everybody." I'm like, "Well, Hope, you have one option here. Let it go. Oh, I don't know. Let it go. It's very simple. You'll just get up one morning and go, well, you know what? I don't care anymore. I don't care about Thomas whatsoever. And you move on with your life. It's very simple. That's what I always do. Like, I didn't want to move when I first found out that I had to move, but eventually I accepted it because I didn't have a choice. But I did take the time to think about it, and eventually I came to accept it, even if I didn't want to. I came to accept it. And I think that at a certain point, Thomas has also accepted on this program that he's never going to be with Hope like he wants to be. So he's just forgotten about it and moved on. Like, these two people cannot be together. It would not work. So they keep talking, and Deacon like, so what's going on? Why is everybody still doing it? Do we have anything to be worried about? And I think in Hope's mind, she fears that she has the situation under control. Because sometimes Brad Bell can actually write people like normal people and sometimes give them defining character trait. Because sometimes when you do something in your mind, you think that you have the situation under control until eventually you realize that you don't. And plus, I think that also right before she left, her and Deacon hugged, and Deacon like, "You are such a wonderful, wonderful person with values. You are such a great person." Hope looked utterly depressed by that. Because I think if Hope was to sleep with Thomas, I'm just saying, this is just a hyperbole because I still don't know if that's actually going to happen, and I really could care less. But if she was, she would hate herself. Well, as I mentioned, I'm in therapy for some stuff. I'm in therapy for some of my issues. And well, one of the things my therapist has told me that if you do something, if you're thinking about doing something, and if you also can come to the conclusion that if you did it or you have this feeling that you're going to hate yourself after you do it, you probably shouldn't do it. Because it's not good to hate yourself. That makes it even worse on you. To hate yourself because of your actions. That makes it even worse. That makes it even worse because then that gives you even more stress. You know what I mean? I mean, Hope is already Brooke Logan's daughter, which has got to be one of the most difficult things in the world to have to be. Whew. That's got to be difficult just with that fact alone. Good Lord, that would be horrible. That would be one of the horrible things. That would be one of the most horrible things you could want to be in life. Brooke Logan's son or daughter. That would be horrible. Who would want her as a mom? I would pick literally anybody else. And except for maybe Taylor, Steffi, or Hope either. I wouldn't want no four of these women as my mom. Or anything in me. I would not want to be married to any of these women or date any of these women. Because they're all four horrible women. That can all be stated right there. But I think that's another part of this. That if Hope was to sleep with Thomas, she would hate herself. Like, just point blank, that's already been established. Like, whether she's thinking about Thomas or not, it's already been established that if she does do this, she will hate herself. And plus, she's already cheated on Liam with Wyatt like 10 years ago, but yet somehow people seem to forget that. And then there's other people who still think that's somehow going to be a possibility, which I would love to know how you think that's possible at this point. Oh yeah, we could have so many great scenes of them talking about their dead son together. Oh, remember the time we got married in Paris and then our son died? Oh yeah. That was interesting. That was a fun time, wasn't it? It was. And then I ran away to Italy for 4 years. Yeah, because then Hope started talking about how she going to Italy and this time feels different. This ain't the first time you've been to Italy. You've gotten married to Liam in Italy. You lived there for 4 years, Hope. 4 years. Or as I like to call it, the golden age of the bold and the beautiful, at least for me personally, the golden age. Those 4 amazing years that Hope was gone. Man, this was such a great television program. The greatness of this show could not be understated. The 4 years of the greatest love story ever told, at least in soap operas. Liam and Steffy. And those two were so great from 2015 to 2017. Man, they had such a great love story. But Brad Bell chose to screw it all up to bring back Hope. So that's kind of what we're stuck with now. We're stuck with Hope and Liam. Like, I don't want this. Suffice to say, I don't know why any man would want to be with Hope, quite frankly. I don't know why any man on a soap opera would think to themselves, you know who would be a good choice to date? Hope. Logan. Who would think that? Who would honestly in their head think that? I don't know. Possibly only Liam, because he's had like 25 concussions, and Steffy slept with his father, so she's out of the picture. You can't get back with a woman who sleeps with your father. I don't think that's possible in real life or in the soap opera. You can't get over that no matter how it happened. You can't. That is something no one can ever forgive. Because it would always be in the back of your mind. Like how if you go back and watch those episodes, that's what Liam said to Steffy, you know? But I don't want to get into why Liam and Steffy was great together. I mean, if you saw it at the time, then you already know why. And if you know why they broke up, you already know why Liam has never loved Steffy since. But yeah, then we cut back to, what else did we have in this episode? Oh yeah, then Brooke and Wedge was talking about something. I'm assuming how they used to be together. I don't know. Talking about going to Italy for some reason. You know, talking about going to Rome, Italy, because that should be a fun time. That should be a fun time. Yeah, that should be 5 great episodes. It won't be, because no matter what happens, Dale, it doesn't matter. Will you let me tell you about the last time they went to Rome, Italy? Well, I don't actually think they went to Rome. I think they just went to Italy. Because they kept saying Italy. They just kept saying Italy. We had no idea what part of Italy they went to. I mean, I only know one place in Italy, Rome. I only know one state, one city, that's Rome. I have no idea what else is in Italy. I always thought Italy was just Rome, Italy, honestly. At some point. Because when I was little, I actually thought Rome, Italy was just one name. But legitimately, I thought it was just one name, and it was in France. I thought it was Rome, Italy, France. Until I got a little bit older, and I realized that Italy was its own separate country. Took me until I was like 10 to realize that. No, ironically, it took me until the Bold and the Beautiful went to Italy in 2020 to go, wait, Italy is its own country? Really? I did not know that. So the last time they went to Italy, it was Hope's and Liam's 2012 marriage. Or as some people call it, that time Hope and Liam got married in Italy, and Liam was kissing Steffy right before it. Because here's what happened. Bill got Deacon out of prison in 2012 to sabotage Hope and Liam's wedding. He sabotaged their wedding with a bunch of stuff that I don't need to get into. You can go watch the episodes. I can't even remember all the stuff he did, but he sabotaged their wedding. He writes a note that makes it seem like Hope's dumped Liam, and the reason why Liam believed it so firmly was because this ain't the first time she's dumped him. Even back then, it was like I want to say maybe 3rd or 5th time back then she's dumped him, because she dumped him in 2011. No, actually, yeah, she dumped him in 2011. Then he married Steffy on the mountain in Aspen with the gondola. Then I think she dumped him again. Or was it the second or third time she's dumped him in 2012? Maybe it was actually the second time, because then they were together. Yeah, it may have been the second time. Might have only been the second time, because this was 2012, so it might have only been the second time. So what happens is he sees that note, and well, as most men would do, as most people would be, he was very upset, but he's like, well, I guess this makes sense. She done it before. And then he's kissing Steffy. So, as I stated in the comments of that episode, and I've stated before, in Liam's mind, Hope was done with him. So what did he have to lose? She was gone. She was done and over with. There was nothing to talk about. She's done this before. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. It's a cycle, so you can't really blame him for his reaction. Should he have found her and talked to her? I guess so, but what would there have been to talk about? It seemed pretty cut dry to me. Because I actually missed the episode beforehand, so I didn't realize that there was a note at all until I saw the episode. I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Where we going with this storyline again? Oh, yippee. So I really couldn't care. I've said that Liam did nothing wrong in that storyline, but other people have a different agreement, but So that's what happens there. Then they actually do get married because Hope shows up and tells them, oh, everything's fine, so they actually do get married in 2012. It was actually one of the most beautiful weddings this show has ever had. I honestly thought that marriage was going to walk out because this Steffi fell off a cliff. Yes, I'm not joking. She fell off a cliff. And thankfully she was fine, so we can laugh at it. It was one of the funniest / one of the greatest scenes I've ever seen on this program. I laughed so much during it in 2012. I was like, this is the greatest scene in soap opera history at that time. Is it still? Maybe not, but it's definitely in the top 10. It was just so hilarious because she just slipped and fell off of a cliff. For no particular reason. She was just watching and she kept walking, was distracted by him. Roop fell off a cliff. Sorry to win, but that's all. I have nothing else to say about this episode. So I'm just gonna start talking about random stuff that's happened to try to explain this more. So then they actually do. Hope and Liam actually do get married. They have a wedding. It's apparently legal everywhere but the state of California. Because then they get back. And then they find out that it's not legal. So Hope sees a video, and of course, because Hope is Hope, she overreacts completely to it. Cries like a baby about it. I'm like, this is all your fault. It's all your fault with the note that you said was from your father, which I don't know what that has to do with anything. Like, whatever Liam did during that time period, it's perfectly fine because it's not great, but it's none of your business because he thought you was done with him. So what did he have to lose? Nothing, honestly. And then she plans a second wedding in Dale, which doesn't happen because Liam goes out with Steffi the night before. And then Wick and a guy named Othello, a DJ named Othello. Great God. One of the funniest characters, one of the funniest short-term characters this program's ever had, because he was great for the short time he was on it, because he clearly understood what Wick had him do was horrible and stupid, and he didn't want to do it, but Wick kept telling him, you have to. And I guess Othello was like, well, he's probably giving him money for this, so I got to do what he tells me. So they made up a lie that Liam and Steffi was kissing, even though they wasn't, and Liam told her this multiple times. So then eventually Wick does eventually tell Hope that he's made it up. So then Hope runs back to Liam in a time period where Hope was actually not annoying, because the only time Hope is ever not annoying on his program is whenever she's fully focused on Liam, because for some reason, that's the only time Hope comes off as not annoying and somewhat likable. I mean, not somewhat likable. She was much likable when Kim something played her. Absolutely. Then Anna Noel, which I'm sure she's a great actress, but she just comes off as less likable in this role. I don't know why, but it just comes off as a woman playing a role, and she's very unlikable in it. And with the old Hope, it was at least like, well, at least she's likable. Well, at least I could find this woman likable. Like, her character she's clearly an idiot, but she's a likable idiot, which there are a lot of those in the world. Like, someone's not the smartest person in the world, but they're very likable. That was kind of the old Hope to a T, basically, and this new Hope is just kind of unlikable. That's one of my biggest problems with most of these characters nowadays. They just come off as completely unlikable and devoid of merit as these characters. So yeah, that's what happened there. And what I was trying to explain with that is how Hope overreacts to everything. Like, that could have been solved with a basic conversation of, well, you thought I was done with you. Oh, well, let's sign the marriage papers and be married. Everything would have been perfectly solved. And a side note to that, Wick was trying to get with Caroline at that point, so Wick tried to make Thomas get with Hope. So technically speaking, Wick laid a foundation for the Thomas obsession with Hope, which then technically means Wick started the domino effect that led to Beth being kidnapped by Dr. Reese Buckingham. I'm not blaming Wick completely. I'm just saying that because this show has been on for years, you can see how what Wick did in 2012 put it Thomas's head that maybe he could want to be with Hope, and yeah, I'm just saying it's a domino effect. Like if Brad Bell would have voted differently, then Thomas wouldn't have had those thoughts in 2019. Like if you think about the show from a real life perspective, that's what I'm saying. So Wink is technically somewhat responsible for the kidnapping of Beth. Not blaming Wink completely, I'm just saying. But I have nothing else to say about this episode. Not much happened, and I know I kind of rambled at the end, but I have nothing else to say about that episode. I just wanted to kind of give you another example of what's going on. But yeah, they're going to Rome, Italy. That should be fun. Yeah, I guess that should be fun for somebody. Rome, Italy seems like a nice place. Doesn't seem like the best place to go for the summer because according to my friend who lived in Rome, Italy for 10 years, told me it's not the greatest place in the world to live in summer because it's very hot. I mean, I live in the South, so I know about heat. Trust me, I live in the South. Most of the summer is just boiling hot here. Just trust me, I know what it's like to have to live somewhere where it's boiling hot. And he said that the late spring, early summer in Rome, Italy is basically the South summer, just a little bit warmer. So. And he was also from the South, too. So trust me, I know hot weather. Trust me, I know when the weather's hot. So yeah, I have nothing else to say about this show. It was just kind of boring, but I wanted to make a new review, and I was trying to do something different. I knew I should make another review about this program, because I did kind of start with this, so I wanted to get back to it, So yeah, that's all I have to say. And this show does come off a little bit differently now, in a sense, so I may explain that later. But I have nothing to say. Everybody have a wonderful day. See you guys next time.